What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny. Here we are with Live with Kenny. So we're going to go into exposing the Democrats' pursuit of power and their lack of morality, right? And it's been a pretty eventful week this week. I mean, there's a lot of political warfare going on around here with McCarthy losing Speaker of the House, Jim Jordan's nomination by Trump. It's been a crazy week, so I'm here for it. So I'm trying to shoot for my end time 720. You guys know I always give an end time, and then I know always seem to make it. But list of stories here I kind of want to highlight between the week of October. It's been a hectic week. It's been it is politically warfare. What's up, Jonathan Fields? Long time no see. And I'm just gonna dive right into it. I don't want to waste any more time. So breaking: McCarthy's considering resigning from the House after being ousted as Speaker. A lot of people were blowing up about this. I mean, Ben Shapiro was whining about how this makes the Republican Party look bad, but to me, it makes it look sincere. It looks like it doesn't. It gives me some hope, some inspiration. Makes me think, hey, maybe my opinion does matter in this world, right? And we wanted Jim Jordan from the beginning, and I'm about to get into that's going to be my next story. But people like me, like I didn't want McCarthy, but all the talking heads who are bigger than me, I'll assume smarter than me, we're all saying, hey, McCarthy is the only person that wants the job. And every time someone said, oh, what about Jim Jordan? Jim Jordan doesn't want to be Speaker of the House. Now he does. But hey, I'm gonna get into that. Let's get into this breaking story. I haven't read much into it, but he seems to be hurt. I mean, he did make history in the worst way possible by being the first Speaker of the House in history. To get ousted. That's craziness. So I guess he's still feeling embarrassed about that. Update: Kevin McCarthy told Fox News that he is not considering they repeated themselves, resigning from his seat after earlier reports said he was considering the option. He said he's not. Okay, so there's been an update to the story. I guess people felt like he was humiliated enough. He said, "Oh no, I'm not retiring." But, I saw some people already reacting to this news saying that, oh my God, he's going to resign. No way. These people love power too much. I just read somewhere that McCarthy spends $21 million advertising to maintain his current seat in the House. Craziness. He spends 21. Imagine that. Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, previous Speaker of the House. She spends $19 million on advertising to keep herself in her seat. This is how these career politicians maintain their power. Through marketing, they outspend their opponents. That's the only reason they still stay in power. This is why you don't get any new up-and-comer coming in and taking down the incumbent. That's why it's so hard to take down incumbents in congressional races, because they got so much money, so much interest behind them that there's no way you're going to take them out, right? And some people will say, yeah, you're trying to expose the Democrats for pursuing power, but aren't the Republicans doing the same thing? Look at McCarthy. Look how hard he fought for the speakership. And you might be right. But one thing I do know about the Republican Party is the only party that seemingly that change will be possible for the common person, for the average American. Right? You saw what Matt Gaetz did. And this is what I love bringing up this example when Democrats come up to me or leftists come up to me and say, oh, look how dysfunctional the Republican Party is. I'm like, at least I know these are some genuine people, because to me, it's weird that 200, how many Democrats are in the House right now? 210 people. They all agree on the exact same thing. They never disagree with each other. That comes across fake to me. And this is kind of going to highlight some of my points, and one of the examples I'm going to use for why Democrats love power. They'll do anything for power. The only reason they voted with Gaetz is because they thought they could use that as leverage to get McCarthy to give some of their policy positions for them. Jonathan Field says he's glad to see you. I'm doing okay. He said, hopefully I'm staying safe. Same to you. Great stream so far. I greatly appreciate it. But enough rambling about my thoughts. Let's get into the story, because I have a lot to cover. So McCarthy was reportedly considering resigning from the U.S. House of Representatives after his recent embarrassing ousting. Sources told the outlet that McCarthy intended to stay in the House until a new speaker is elected next week, but is considering resigning after the election. During a closed-door meeting with GOP lawmakers, McCarthy said his ousting as House Speaker was a signal to return home. I'm going to spend some time with my family. I think someone spread a bad rumor and it came back to haunt them. I think when I hear I'm spending time with my family from a politician, is I'm gonna take vacation. And someone took that as, oh no, this man said he's resigning. I might have been given a bad break, but I'm still the luckiest man alive. That's a quote from McCarthy. Regardless if McCarthy decides to leave office, the Californian said that he will remain involved in GOP politics. I'm doing anything I can to help almost all of you, except Matt Gaetz. I have raised a hell of a lot of money in the last hour, he reported, said to the Republican Congress members, according to the outlet. And that's one of the reasons why McCarthy was such a big speaker. And I think this is why a lot of Republicans were like talking heads Republicans, like the Sean Hannitys and more of the older Republicans. I believe that's why they were mostly mad. They're like, damn, you just kicked out our biggest moneymaker, right? And enough about McCarthy. I think we get the synopsis of the story, right? He's been criticized for him folding when he didn't have to fold, right? And it's just politics as usual. So this is the next story. Don't mind the advertisement. I need to get an ad blocker. Breaking. President Trump endorses Jim Jordan for House Speaker, which is, we always wanted this. I think a lot of the younger folks in the conservative movement wanted Jim Jordan to run. We wanted Jim Jordan to be Speaker. Well, we wanted anybody but McCarthy to be Speaker, right? So everyone's flipping out. I saw some clips from The View and some other things. There's a clip here. I think I'll play it just so you guys don't sit here and listen to my voice only. So let's take a little look, and then I'll give some of my thoughts throughout the video.
Now, just prior to coming on the air tonight, I have direct sources that are telling me that former President Donald J. Trump is very close to endorsing Jim Jordan very soon for Speaker of the House. Now, also tonight, Matt Gaetz initiated the motion to vacate against McCarthy, and Lauren Boebert, who held up McCarthy's election to the speakership back in January, both indicated they would be more than willing to support Jim Jordan. They do so enthusiastically, but not everyone is on board with the idea of Speaker Jim Jordan. Now, over at that hard-hitting news show on ABC, it's called The View. Sonny Houston, anyway, feigned outrage over the potential of Speaker Jim Jordan. Take a look.
I testified in front of Congress about something so simple, cameras in courtrooms. He came in late, he looked disheveled, and he immediately was screaming and yelling and
terrorizing. Okay, here we go. Liberal women. So I'm happy, obviously, about this, and I'm glad they'll remove the motion to vacate. I think I don't know. I'm 50-50 on the vacate motion. I think that it's important to have it so that way members have some level of accountability towards the Speaker of the House. But Jim Jordan, I think he has a lot of credibility. A lot of people trust him. A lot of people believe he'll do the right thing. And it seems like that's the only thing we seem to be able to come in common now. And we'll see how it goes. I think Jim Jordan is a very genuine person. At least that's what he comes across. So I think, well, should I continue with The View? I think I was about to cut it short there, but let's get back into The View. I want to hear her thoughts. Let's hear.
Me and the other experts on the panel, and describing him as a terrorist is exactly that. He's a chaos agent.
This is a great idea.
So this is the kind of things I'm talking about with the Democratic Party, bro. Right? Or Democrats. Sorry, it's not about the Democrats, but it's about Democrats. Is that they don't care about truth, right? They don't have no morality. They don't care if you call them hypocrites. They don't care if what they call you is actually fitting, right? They'll call anyone anything as long as it serves their ends, right? Their biggest, I guess, concept is label somebody that you're guilty of. Like if you're guilty of, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's incompetent, he's a terrorist. How you can get away with just saying that and no one comes check them is because, like I said, the media has a liberal bias. So when their person do it, oh, we ain't gonna check you on that. If Trump says something about these very bad people, if they calls one of their congresswomen acting like the Ku Klux Klan, oh, now that was too far. Oh, that label wasn't appropriate. But you don't hold the same feet to the fire of your own constituents. And this is what politics is inevitably becoming. It's about tribalism instead of about solutions. And I think one of the things that we should start judging policies on is how effective it is for the common American. I think that if we can focus politics based on that, it'll be easier to see which solutions work and which solutions don't work. Which policies are more probable to fix it and what policies are less likely to fix it, right? But it ain't gonna come from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party only seems to care about their agenda and what they want and what they need to see. And if you don't fit into that mode, aka you disagree with them, you have a different view on them, they have a name for you. They have a label for you. All right. And I'll say, look, Democrats are the masters at gaslighting. That's all I'm going to say.
Want to do that again so that people at home can hear you? Aww. The poor little snowflakes got offended that somebody actually, raised their voice slightly. Oh, what is the shame of it? By the way, when my father would hit me with the belt, I didn't actually raise my voice. How did this country, we used to be the land of the free, home of the brave. What happened? Why did we become the land of the snowflake?
Well, because technically we dropped the ball here. I'll say, especially with the education system, right? We got people, we participation trophies. We got into this habit of coddling people, right? And there's a book I think I would recommend for this. It's called Anti-Fragile. And it's the fact that kids growing up, my generation, millennials, Gen Z, we've been brought up that people want to spare our feelings. They want to spare our esteem, right? And it's a battle between, like, if you're a conservative, you want to raise strong kids. And sometimes when you want to raise strong kids, you have to prioritize one thing over the other. You want to teach your kids self-control or self-esteem. A lot of our teachers and these liberals, they love self-esteem. Oh, you can be anything you want. You can be anything if you put your mind to it, right? Follow your passion. That's self-esteem talk. While self-control talk is, hey, look, bro, you 5'6". I don't think it's realistic for you to expect yourself to be in the NBA, right? Practical, pragmatic. Hey, you want to be a teacher, but you want to make 6 figures and you want to be a teacher? That's going to be kind of hard to do, right? Be realistic. Those are the kind of things we should be pushing on our kids to make them strong, right? It's better to raise strong children than to try to fix broken people. And I think that's what happened to our society. It's not just a generation thing. I just think previous generation, Gen X, baby boomers, they coddled their kids. And now they feel self-entitled to things. They feel the participation trophy, it puts an incentive where kids expect to get rewarded for something just because of X and just because of Y. Oh, I showed up. Where's my reward? No, we supposed to push for excellence, but people say, but now, my generation will say, expectations are too much pressure. Too much expectation is stressful. If I expect my kids to have nothing less than a B+, oh my God, too much expectation. You're stressing your kids out. Too much pressure. Your kids are gonna go into depression because you expect excellence from them. And look what happened to our society. That's the culture we put out there. Like I said, society is not built by marriage or education or entrepreneurship. It's built by culture. If you have a culture of high standards, high expectations, you incentivize the people to rise towards it. But if you put it low, people are going to hit it and be like, okay, I could cruise now because I hit the low standards. This is my argument for why I don't like the left and how they treat black people. Oh, we don't expect black people to show up on time. I'm on black people time, right? You racializing behavior. I don't like that. Like, nah, what's the expectation? I got to be here on time? Okay, I'm showing up on time. I think we do ourselves a disservice by pushing a culture like that. But, I digress. Next story. Left-wing activists are dying by their own ideology. So recently, if you've been following me this week, I put out a video about the consequences of the left downplaying crime in these blue cities. One person died in Brooklyn, New York. The other died in Philadelphia. Suspects are, they're my peoples, right? Black, right? And I bring, and some people, when I bring up the stats about how black on white crime is more often than white on black crime, people call me a coon for that. And I'm like, so I'm a coon for observing that a black man killed white people more often than white people kill or victimize black people. I'm a coon for that. That's craziness. It's crazy, right? 85% of interracial crime is perpetrated by black people. Biggest perpetrator against Asians. Who is it? Guess what? Guess. Black people. I'm just calling it out. I'm calling a spade, right? I'm keeping it 100, right? And then these guys that's been killing these people, like, I believe this is the Brian Dillard guy. I forgot his name already. This is Matt Walsh's opinion piece. I'm not going to read all of it, but there's a part of it I wanted to highlight, right? But I want to give just for context for people who weren't aware of this story. The other day I talked briefly about a murder of Ryan Carson, which was the left-wing activist from Brooklyn. He was 32 years old, Antifa activist. He was stabbed to death in Brooklyn at night. Leftists called it whatever. Look, and this is where we'll start going into the topic of this video. Here's it. Leftists can call it whatever they want. Stereotyping, racial profiling, white supremacy, whatever. The truth is that it's common sense to get out of a situation when you assess that you're unsafe. And that's one thing I also highlight. Like, when you're from the hood, this is like, this is street smarts. Now you go into a lot of black people's territory. This is street smarts, because at the end of the day, who's the higher perpetrator of violent crime against black people? Black people. Black on black crime is the biggest perpetrator. Like, I'm more likely to die if you hear a headline, Talks with Kenny dies by homicide. If you said black person, you have an 80% chance of being right. So black people know, this guy, You know the joke, why they always got to kill the black one first? Because they'll make the most sense. Oh, I ain't going towards the danger. I'm running away from the danger. This is why. Because we used to this stuff. But these suburban, lefty, liberal kids, I can talk. I talked myself out of a mugging one time. All he did was negotiate his mugging. Instead of getting jacked for his shoes, his phone, his clothes, dude said, here's money. And you called that, I got out of a mugging. Get out of here. But hey, I digress. If an aggravated young male in a hoodie starts kicking mopeds and ranting and raving in front of you, as Ryan Carson's killer did, then you don't stare at him. You don't tell him to chill or shove him several times in the chest, especially when he said, I'll kill you. You need to get yourself and your loved one as far away as possible. And that's one thing. Look, growing up in the hood, you realize, if you're smart anyway, if you don't got that pride thing going on, you realize, my life is more important than validating my ego or validating some perception that I have. And this is where I say ideals get you killed sometimes, right? Especially if your ideals is not based in reality, right? I reacted to the story. Some people said, the reason he got killed, the reason the killer had to do what he did, he chalked it up to a broken system. And I was like, a broken system don't make that man kill you. A broken system don't make you get stabbed by that man. A broken system doesn't make you mentally ill. It's either you were born like that, your struggles in your life cause you to be like that, but you can't blame it on the system. Because then the first thing I'm going to ask you, okay, what part of the system caused that exact behavior? But this is the leftists not wanting to hold black people accountable for some reason, based on the color of their skin. And I think that's racism. Hey, let me know if you're watching this on the replay. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. If someone calls you racist because of that, then that's their problem. And this is Matt Walsh's bigger point about stereotyping. And I believe in stereotyping. Stereotyping has a purpose. Stereotyping is not racist. Here's why. Stereotyping is using the fact of people's pattern recognition. This is something innate in human beings. If I see lion ate the last guy that I try to get near it, my butt is likely to experience the same outcome. I'm not going to do it. That's how people learn. This person was able to catch more fish than me catching it with my bare hands because he used something called a net. Let me make my own net and see if I can get the same results as that person. Look at that. I caught more fish. I mean, I've caught more fish than him, but I caught more fish. So my situation is better because I observe a behavior. Pattern recognition is not racist. That's pretty much what stereotyping is. Stereotyping is pattern recognition. I recognize a pattern. My stereotype is represented by reality, what is observed in the general. This is a generalization, yes. People are allowed to generalize because that's what keeps human beings alive. And because you, like, and this was the left, this is what I'm saying, the left is idiotic sometimes. It's better to be alive and racist than to be dead and tolerant. That's why I say, hey, I can't call this guy a hypocrite. He was willing to die for his beliefs. But to me, if I saw a white dude kicking a moped, ranting and raving like that, if I saw an Asian dude doing that, if I saw a Hispanic dude doing that, I saw a black dude yo, it don't matter who's doing it. My ass not going over there. Straight up. Bruh. This is why in reality, right? If you were to do a horror movie, white people will die first, not black people. But hey, I digress. That's my little cultural debate right there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Over the last 48 hours, though, it became very clear that the murder of Ryan Carson is about more than what Ryan Carson did or failed to do at 4 p.m. on Monday in Brooklyn. The response to Carson's killing from the corners of the left, from Carson's friends to local politicians to the media, doesn't simply tell us that the leftists are hopelessly naive and ignorant of very real threats to their lives. This is bigger than that. And my argument is they only care about power. The response to Carson's death and killing also makes it clear that the left simply don't care about human life or humanity in general. If you're reading this in the comment section, you're watching this on the replay, let me know your thoughts. Do you think this statement is true by Matt Walsh? I agree with this statement. I don't believe they don't care. Because end of the day, I talk about how affirmative action causes more harm for black people than good. Right? You sending up black people to be in positions where they can't be competitive. You setting up for black people where they're more likely to fail at it because you lowered the bar for them, aka setting them up for a higher rate of failure. Studies show when affirmative action was implied in, I think it was Carnegie Mellon, the black dropout rate increased higher than when before it was like, it makes no sense. Meritocracy wins. Hey, you want people who are actually capable of hanging in college to go to college. But if you want to lower the standard because you have this weird view that going to college will make them smarter, I got news to tell you. College don't make you smart. A large minority of people show no academic improvement after graduating from college. 40%. So college doesn't improve people. You ain't going to go in there in college. College is not a training arc and then you come out like Goku out of the hyperbolic time chamber. That's not college. College is as you come is usually how you leave. The only thing difference is you got a degree, you got a little, it's just a status thing. It's just a mark of approval. To me, college acts more as a gatekeeper for your economic success than institution that prepares you for success. But the left don't listen because they don't care. They don't care if it actually improves people's lives or not. They care that you're doing it, that you're complying. The left cares more about you saying 2 + 2 = 5 than actually sticking up for 2 + 2 being right. That's the left. So I agree with this statement. The left don't care about human lives or humanity in general. They only care about exercising their power. This is Matt Walsh, if you're just coming in. We know that because they're not even going through the motions of demonstrating some pretense of concern for Carson, much less the policies that led to his death, they don't care. What this means is that leftism is collectivism. We all know this. In every sense and every level, it views its own adherents not as people, but as replaceable, fungible cogs in a revolution, which is true. This is the dangers of collectivist thinking. If a society fails to protect the smallest minority in the country, that's the individual, right? I'm gonna put myself as an example, right? Technically, I'm a victim class, right? I can play off my skin color and get sympathy from people. The problem here is that if I disagree with the majority of black people, because technically as a conservative, I'm a minority in a minority. So let's look at some stats. Majority of black people are what? Democrats, 90%. That means I'm part of the 10%. That means I'm only part of 10% of a minority group. So because I don't agree with 90% of my own group, am I black? That's a question for you black liberals that might come and see this video. Am I black? Yes, I'm black. Because my blackness or my race or my skin color is not determined by my politics. It's not determined by my behavior. If I say I don't like fried chicken, it doesn't make me less black than someone who said they do like fried chicken. Behaviors do not dictate race. And this is a big problem that I have in our current culture today, is because there's a lot of this, we trying to mix behavior with race. Saving money is a white behavior. Thinking logically is a white thing. Thinking about cause and effect, that's white culture. No, I'm not playing this game. It's either good or bad. That's it. Because they're trying to disrupt the pattern recognition. If I recognize, hey, a group of people do one particular action and another group of people do another particular action, I shouldn't expect them to have both sides have the same results. I expect them to have different results. And then when I see one side complaining, oh, it's because of our skin color, we're not getting the outcomes we want. And I'm looking at the other side and they're getting the outcomes that the other race is complaining about. I'm just saying, hey, just do what they're doing. Oh, no, that's a white thing to do. The society should change its rules so it's better caters to what I want to do, what I'm comfortable doing. And that's what the black community is currently doing right now. That's collectivism. Instead of blaming my own individual behaviors for my outcomes, I want to blame something that we all can latch onto, aka using my race as an alibi. Biggest talking point I have. A lot of these race hustlers, a lot of these people who have the racism victim mindset, they like to use their identity as an alibi. You can put gender there, you can put race there, you could put sexual orientation there. People like to use their identity as an alibi and an excuse to absolve themselves from personal accountability. But I think I've been rambling too long. Let's get back into this because I really want to highlight a point. They use their own as cannon fodder, which is in their culture war. One that is irrelevant. You saw George Floyd is a perfect example of this this talking point. I agree with that. We can debate it. Here it is. Within hours of Ryan Carson's death, his left-wing friends set up a GoFundMe account. Look how these people do each other dirty like this, bro. Look, this shows you. If this doesn't tell you that a lot of people on the left only are in it for themselves, and this is why socialism never works. This is why communism never works. This is why these systems are so bad. Because imagine giving people like this power. Let's read the story. They didn't create this GoFundMe fund me to cover funeral costs or to help Carson's family. Instead, Carson's friends set up this GoFundMe account so that people would pay them to skip work. Let that sink in. They're using the name of their dead friend just the same way that BLM used the name of George Floyd to boost their cause for their ends. You were just you were just a pawn. You were just a martyr for our ends, for our come up. That's no. Let's read it again. Carson's friends set up this GoFundMe account so people would pay them to skip work. And I think they rose like $50,000 already. Sad that instead of, oh my God, my friend, oh, he was such a good guy. He died for what he believed in, right? When Martin Luther King died, people were crying. People were sad. I expected that kind of reaction from his friends, but nah. They use his death as a hustle to make their lives better, to make their lives easier. This is why I can't trust people like that. No morale, no morals. Using your life as a means to an end. I want to work less. Hey, let's use your death as an excuse to work less. Hey, let's use your death to raise money so I can have an easier time skipping work. Wow. Here's the pitch. And they actually wrote this on the GoFundMe. We are a collective of Ryan Carson's close friends, reeling from his brutal loss. Remember, I ain't fazed by this. This is how Democrats talk to a lot of people. They show fake compassion as long as you do what they want, so they can benefit from it. We are asking for your help on behalf of his partner in easing the burden and stress of this horrifying situation so we can have space and time to grieve. And remember, Ryan. Remember Ryan. It was weird wording there. Immediate needs are to offset the cost of working class people taking time off to work to properly mourn. Not to, hey, let's send this to his family to cover funeral. Oh my, yo. They want to take a vacation, essentially. This is some sad stuff, bro. Yo. You know how pissed I would be if a close friend of mine used my death so he can use it to go on vacation and he's like, oh, I need to get my mind off it. Typical leftists, making it about themselves when in reality it's not about them. This is some narcissistic stuff, bro. And you want me to trust people like that with power? How I know you ain't gonna loot the damn treasury, our tax money, raise all everybody's taxes to 90%, and then you get to reap all the benefits of it? That's the kind of people that tend to be socialist. That's the socialist mindset right there. Not to take collective resources and use it for the good of the common people. No, socialists think let's take the resources from the common people, from the collective, and use it to enrich and empower ourselves. That's the leftist logic. That's socialism logic. That's communism logic. Collectivists think, hey, we should all come together, give me the power, and I decide how we all go. That's leftist. That's collectivism. This is why it don't work. This is why it goes against human nature. Human nature is like, yo, while I'm here giving you 90% of my labor, my earnings, I'm busting my ass to make this money, and you taking 90% of it, and you're not doing no work. You're just sitting on your ass because you make decisions on our behalf. And this is why socialists and communists always have to resort to violence to get the people in line, because people ain't gonna sit there and tolerate that stuff. That's extortion. No one has property rights. That's how socialists think. No one has property rights. Everything's for the collective, even your own body. Because at the end of the day, property rights is an extension of your own bodily autonomy. So imagine that. If you're a woman and you believe in my body, my choice, psych. In a socialist society, that's not a thing. You don't have any property rights. So you have no right to deny any man or nothing. No. I'm being dead serious. If a socialist says they don't believe in private property rights, the first property you're born with is your body. So they're saying you don't even have a right to your own body. That means if it means hey, all the women have to prostitute themselves out for the men so the men can keep working for the good of the society, you must do it, or else. They never tell you that though. What's up, Toby Chaser 62? Appreciate you showing up on the stream. But I digress, because I want to kind of wrap this up with the girlfriend. You might have heard claims on social media that Carson's girlfriend, Claudia, wasn't cooperative with police in hours after her boyfriend's death. We can't confirm that, but certainly it is true if it's been keeping, like, even on social media, she don't seem that way. You know, she calls cops bastards. Look, bro, that's sad. Your own girlfriend, like, nah, you deserve, like, just die. Like, craziness. And she didn't even seem that rattled, right? And here's another thing that I find annoying, right? CBS is blurring out the face of a black man who killed Ryan Carson. This is
footage of the man police say they were looking for. He has not yet been identified, but we are blurring his face at the moment while charges are pending. We watched again.
Imagine that. So there's I did an Inconvenient Truth about the Me Too movement, and they don't serve courtesy like that for people accused of rape. But for a man convicted of murder, not convicted of murder, but pretty much his name is Brian. We know his name already, but he's accused of committing murder. You blurring out his face. You're keeping his identity hush hush. But a ditzy blonde somewhere who's a groupie for baseball players, she said, I got beaten by this famous rich man that has everything to lose but nothing to gain from beating my butt. Oh no, put his name out there, slander him, smear him. He gets dropped from his team. 2 years later, we found out she planned this. Found out that she was using sexual assault as a means of extorting him. But you put his business out there. But this guy, he committed murder. Stab a dude. You blur his face. Why? Why? Because he's a black man. Look, that's racism in and of itself. This is why I say Democrats lack morals. Why are you treating one person differently than you treat the other? I'm all about, look. When you have standards that have to apply to general people, you have to keep them as absolute as possible, as clear and as specific as possible. Because if you start making exceptions, we don't blur out people's face except if you're a woman, black man, this, that. If you start making exceptions, the people who the exceptions don't follow, they're going to feel some type of way about it. And this kind of thing will start dividing people. This kind of thing starts highlighting the differences of Americans instead of the commonality of the Americans. And that's one of the big debates that we had in this chat right now in the live stream, in the previous chat. How we talk about diversity could be a strength if we all share common values. But how are we sharing common values if one side's saying, hey, it's unfair that if this guy was a white man, you want to be blurring his face. But because he's a black man, you're blurring his face. How's that not a double standard? Double standards cause division. How diversity can be your strength if you're treating people differently based on their diversity. This is the problem that diversity has. This is why I say diversity is a weakness, not a strength. At least as long as we keep doing stuff like this. I really think he was set up. Her actions doesn't jive well as a comparing companion. Look, to me, I think most left. Look, all right, hey, yo, I don't need to bring out this stat again because people are probably going to get tired of me bringing out that stat. But liberals are the least happiest people in the world. Liberal women are the least happiest person on the world. In America, at least. So, I don't know. I think she was miserable. But, hey, to be clear, the suspect that the police arrest is 18 years old. Brian Doley, Doling. There's no convictable reason. Yeah, there's no conceivable reason to blur his face. I agree. And I was trying to find the other dude that killed the journalist from Philadelphia. Yeah, but he starts rambling. But I think I spent too much time on this story. So let's get back to politics. So polls shows that Republicans have an advantage on immigration, crime, and economy. All the things that we've been complaining about recently. So this is the real fight here. Is that, look, Democrats, meanwhile, have an edge on abortion and healthcare. And I'm going to talk about that. But these things are not as immediate. Healthcare could be, depends on your health. But that's preventable for most part. Healthcare costs if you take care of yourself. But we live in a country that's have a growing obesity rate. So that's going to become more important as time go on. But right now, everybody complaining about immigration. Go ask Chicago, Boston, New York, any red state near the border, Arizona, Texas, Florida sometimes, but we don't get as much as those two. Crime is affecting everybody, especially if a certain group of people get killed by another group of people. If police happen to kill someone of a specific race, crime explodes. Everyone uses that. This is the leftism. This is why I said leftism only care about power. Oh, you kill one of our own? We gonna destroy property. We're gonna riot. That's not based on any morality. Economy is obvious. Look at inflation, the spending that we're doing, fighting on a budget. We want to put American people in debt to send more money to Ukraine when there's no way we're gonna get that money back. This is not an IOU. It's here's a grant on the taxpayer's dime, and who got to work to pay it off? The Americans. Imagine that. Imagine you pull out a loan for like $30,000 and you give it to somebody else, and you be like, oh, but you're on the hook to pay back the loan, and the other person use it. They buy a Lamborghini with the $30,000, whatever, and you see them enjoying that $30,000, and you sitting over here busting your butt to pay off that $30,000 that you just loan out to them. That's what our government is currently doing for Ukraine. I hear we're supporting their economy with the those bills package we sent over there. Yo, this is globalism. You're just a cog. Your nation is just a cog in the world's machine. That's globalism. That's why I'm more of a nationalist than I'm nationalist at this point. I'm like, yo, look, if it's not in America's best interest, we shouldn't be doing it. But people can disagree. Voters overwhelmingly say they trust Republicans to do a better job than Democrats dealing with border security, crime, economy, and immigration. But some small margins, registered voters also say Democrats are better at healthcare and abortion and coronavirus and education. Education, I think, is an issue that the Republicans can win back. I just think Republicans need to message better on the education piece, because no one in their sane mind who knows what these Democrats are pushing will say education is for Democrats if they knew in reality what Democrats were actually pushing, not what they say, but what they're actually doing. No, you know a man by his fruit, not by what he says. His deeds, not his words. Sorry. The two parties are essentially tied at protecting democracy and looking out for the middle class. On this survey, after 20 or 40, 30 years, Republicans dealing with economics versus Democrats, immigration, and crime are all their all-time highs, said Republican pollster Bill, I'm not going to butcher his last name, of Public Opinion Strategies, who conducted the poll alongside a Democratic pollster, Jeff Horowitz, and his team at research. The other thing that's maybe not expected in these phrases is protecting our constitutional right and protecting democracy. We're a republic, but I get what they're meaning. These are the things where overall the electorate thinks Republicans are more focused and will do a better job than Democrats. I don't think. We know they'll do a better job, right? And I'm just gonna skip over this. This was the whole point. So here's the hopefully you guys can see this. Here's the poll. Look at that. 50%, 20%, 46%, 20%. Dealing with crime. Look at all the look. We just talked about how a dude just got killed in Brooklyn, blue city. What policy prescription they're doing for the crime? Let's go on to the next story. I'll make sure I don't get no. This is the guy we got. This is who Democrats got as president. Biden is mixing up. He's confusing debt with deficits and blames press for grim economic news and claims a budget surplus in bizarre White House rant. He's ranting and raving as an old geriatric man. It's crazy, right? President Biden criticizes the media Friday on his public economic concerns again and mixed up the term debt with deficit, while also claiming he's presiding over a federal budget surplus, despite actually overseeing the highest non-pandemic annual deficit in U.S. history. You're all not the happiest people in the world. I mean, how can anyone be happy in this economy, Mr. Biden? Cost has risen. Gas prices are up, which is a resource that many people use. Electrical cars are still too expensive for the common person to adopt. So this argument of, just buy electric cars. Yeah, your rich, snooty, liberal friends can afford that. And studies show liberals tend to make more money than conservatives because they tend to be more educated, and there's a correlation with education and higher income. So your liberal friends could afford Tesla, an electric car. I think the average car note now is what, $400-$500 a month. So in this economy, no one's looking to buy a new car. At least not someone financially literate and smart. Biden scolds a group of reporters at the White House. You turn on the TV and there's not a whole lot about so he's pretty much making an analogy that he's saving the economy, but all they're reporting on is how he pushed them into the lake. That's the metaphor I took from it. I think Biden went on and said, I think that American people are smart as hell and know what their interests are. I think they know that they are better off financially than they were before. It's a fact. Do you guys believe that? If you're watching this on the replay, do you believe that? And all the data, all the polls show that they think they're more positive about the economy than they have been. That means in 2020, he said you guys are better off now than you were 2020. 2021 was the worst of it. He fixed his own mistake and made it less so. And now he's saying, you're better off than ever. Yeah, but you're the cause of it, Mr. Joe Biden. This is some craziness right here, bro. No morality. If I was the cause, I would have been like, if I was president and I caused the highest inflation in 40 years, my butt would be like, hey, look, I'm doing everything I can to fix this. It's on us. We here's the policies and here's how we're going to fix it. This guy, no, we're doing great. Have economists out here redefining what a recession is, bro. I feel like we've been in a recession since what, 2021. That's how I felt. So I've been here like, hey, preparing, trying to save money. My wife just finished complaining to me that our usual haul from the grocery store, we spent like $200. Usually we only spent $150. I'm like, damn. Now I have to raise the budget. Come on, Biden, bro. Yeah, the media can't say anything good about Biden. I haven't seen. Hey, let me know. I haven't seen anyone openly Joe Biden. I may see some people with the bumper sticker, but I haven't seen anyone like loud and proud Joe Biden supporter. And anyone on the internet said they believe in Joe Biden, I believe they're paid for. I ain't gonna lie to you. Jonathan Field says, I don't believe that the economy is crap and is getting harder and harder to live and survive, but we are still the best country ever. Yeah, everyone's going through it, but this is the problem with globalism. Everyone's like interconnected, interdependent, so everyone's feeling it. And the only reason we're not worse off is because we're the world reserve currency. But China, India, Russia, they created their little BRICS thing, and now they're trying to threaten us there. That's economic warfare. Don't even get me started on the economic warfare front. This is craziness out here, bro. On the global stage. So if we lose that, bro, we might hit a depression-like state. But let's talk about something a little bit more fun. All right. Like I said, this is political warfare out here, right? This is another example of how the left don't really care about morals, right? World's largest women's tech conference is taken over by men identifying as non-binary, right? So if you're a moral person and you believe people can change their identity at will, wouldn't you just accept people for identifying it, no matter if it's inconvenient to yourself? That shows someone who has principles. When they still follow what they value and believe, even if it's inconvenient for what is best for them materially. But not the left. Oh, come on. Lefts are known as hypocrites. A career building conference intended to boost women's opportunities. And in my view, women get a lot easier time getting jobs nowadays, right? Gets a job in the tech industry was invaded by a crowd of men who identified as non-binary, right? And if we know anything, women are more supportive of this stuff. It was on a college campus. Oh, is it in Orlando? It's liberal as hell. The Grasshopper celebration event held in Orlando, Florida from September 26 to 29 was touted as the world's largest gathering of women and non-binary technologists. That's where they messed up, right? You're saying you're open to non-binary technologists, and when these so-called non-binary technologists show up and they happen to look more like men, you're here crying. Why? Because it hurt their opportunities. Bruh, the worst thing, I mean, this all started with feminism. Feminism was the first one to start this claim that gender was a social construct. Feminism started. If you look at earlier feminist writings, they're talking about how motherhood doesn't define a woman. The vagina doesn't define a woman. Only her belief does. And society, because the simplest way I can encapsulate feminism is, feminists believe a lot of the gender differences are socially engineered. That means they believe women are women because they were nurtured that way. And now this collectivist thinking has taken over their whole movement now. Now you can't even get a liberal that's sitting on the Supreme Court to define what woman is, because she believes she's not qualified to define what a woman is because she's not a biologist. Imagine that. Oh my God. Let's look at it, bro. Hopefully there's no music.
Career conference for females in tech was taken over by male attendees.
They were there just purely for the career fair.
Social media clips filmed at the Grace Hopper, the world's largest gathering of...
This is what I like about leftists. They're only there for the career field. You were there too. Like, if it wasn't there, would you be there? I just noticed.
Show men standing in line to meet with recruiters.
This is a space for women in tech. This is one of...
But is not what it was the largest gathering of women and non-binary technologists, but they think it's all about them.
Those few limited resources that isn't for you, it's for us.
Some of the male attendees reportedly lied about being non-binary just to get in.
How you know they lied? Like, this is the funny part. How you know they lied? Right? When the right, like when we say, hey, men can't be women and women can't be men, we can assume, hey, you're lying about that. There's no way you can be a woman. There's no way you can be non-binary. There's no such thing. You're either one or the other. That's the only way you can come into this world. Now, if you're intersex, that's a genetic malformity, but that's an exception to the rule. An exception proves the rule. But these here people, well, all you have to do is identify as one, right? If I identify as a liberal, I'm a liberal. This is how they treat labels. This is how they treat non-binary. So if someone say, hey, I'm a liberal. Oh, no, you're not. How you know that? Oh, you wasn't sincere enough. You didn't portray yourself enough. Okay, so if I see a person who legitimately believe they're a woman and they're walking down and I say, yo, you look like, hey, what's up, dude? And they get, it's ma'am. It's ma'am. You see how it don't make sense? They go whatever benefits them. If it benefits them to call you to believe the delusion that you're a woman, they'll go with it because they get to show off how virtuous they are. But when that same ideology, that same idea, that same belief is inconvenient for them, they want to claim you're lying. That's when they want to live in reality. This is merely the left, and a lot of people on the Democratic side. They play the word games. They play word games. Let's play with words. Let's play logistics. Let's use language. Let's smear you. When the reality is, language has a function. Language is used to define and communicate what is observed in reality. But the left don't believe that. They believe language is used to persuade and to get people to view something the same way as they're looking for. The left is trying to get a popular opinion, while many people on the conservative and on the right, they want to find the truth. And that's the difference between the two sides. That's why we always talk past each other. Oh, you're a bigot. Well, isn't what I'm saying true or not? So how am I a bigot for saying the truth? This is craziness. But hey, let's get back into the video. You know, these people with their twisted logic.
It's interesting that the large majority of the people that actually ended up in the event had name tags with he, him, and have no searchable history of identifying as non-binary.
Several tech workers defend.
Why these non-binary people need to prove themselves to you? This is another thing I can't stand with the Democrats and the left. They act like they have some preconceived authority or credibility. Like you got to prove yourself to them. Like, huh? I don't need to prove yourself to nobody. I think, therefore I am. That's what your stance was, right? That's what non-binary transgender people, that's what it was. It's a spectrum, right? These guys happen to be more male than female. Who are you to say? But this is the kind of games that they only care about power, man. They want power. And these same people will say, oh, we want the good for everybody. This is why we believe in socialism. We want to transform society. Socialists have a mindset of envy. They're envious of other people and they want what they can't have. So therefore they use any means necessary to get it. And they know they're too weak to get it themselves. So they come in gangs. This is why Antifa, when they jump somebody, they always jump someone in groups. They never fight one-to-one. Collectivists.
The men for trying to capitalize on job opportunities not meant for them, saying that the entire concept was wrong.
Let's be honest, there is no need for a conference just for women, because if it was the opposite, just for men, then it would be sexist. Just because you are a woman doesn't give you the right to talk to a big firm recruiter. Guys work just as hard and they don't get that chance.
I mean, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Like these lefties, bro. They swear their feelings rule over all, right? They swear their feelings rule over all. So, oh my God, I went way over my time. So, I hope it doesn't start playing. So now the main event, I'll say, because I'll give this video like not 3 minutes, but we're getting close to the main event. I'm about to wrap up pretty soon in like the next hour. Hopefully this thing doesn't come up choppy. So Tim Pool had this discussion with Democrats and how Democrats are exposed as illogical.
They do not have that concept.
Yeah. So Democrats are like illogical, no morals, which pretty much was the theme of this whole entire live stream in the beginning, right? They don't make sense. So I kind of react to like about 12 minutes because I think that's where the bulk of the conversation was surrounded by Democrats as illogical, no morals, no standards, very Machiavellian party, right? Very authoritarian party, right? And when a lot of the left criticize Matt Gaetz, I say, hey, at least Matt Gaetz is proving himself to want change in the system. AOC and them had the same opportunity in 2015 and they folded. Instead of fighting against the system, fighting against the establishment, they went along with it. They folded. And Matt Gaetz showed you how you actually do it, how you actually get change, how you actually fight for your priorities. This is why progressives, they don't get anything done because they care about power too much. Oh, we need to be part of the collective. We need to be part of the team. Who cares what my constituents want? Who cares about bettering my people? It's what's convenient for me and my party. But I digress. Let's get into the video.
is the literal definition of God, a higher powerful being beyond us and our capabilities, the
Sure.
creator of all things. They don't have that.
They have something that they serve.
But they don't. They do not have that concept in their minds of a higher power. It does not exist.
They're worshiping.
But it's not the same thing. There is a plus one and negative one. These people are either blind and ignorant and will just be party to the collective, unwittingly and useful idiots, or they believe they are simply but a wet robot and there is no truth but power, so they will wield it however they see fit.
That's what I believe. I showed you an example with crime. It doesn't matter if they're suffering the consequences of their bad choices. They still want soft on crime because they think it's racist to want tough on crime because they believe criminals are mostly black. When in reality, criminals are mostly white. It's just black people are overrepresented because black people overly commit crimes for their population size. They're almost black males specifically are almost 40%, sometimes 50. I see some stats say 50, almost 50% responsible for homicide. That's crazy. And most of the victims are black themselves. Craziness. But no one calls it out. The left don't. That's what I'm saying. The left don't care about the lives of people. They care about making ends meet. Hey, if I get these people emotionally tied to my party, then I can get my way. I could herd them down this path that will benefit me and my party. That's what Democrats care about. But let's get back into the video.
You ask these people, for the most part, they will tell you there's no God and nothing matters. And then you have many people who might say they believe in God, but are ignorant and the banality of evil. They are the commonplace, ignorant person who does not want to know, does not care to know, but will gladly march behind whatever they think is safe.
That might be the case, but they have a hierarchy, as Jordan Peterson would say, a hierarchy of values. Something has to be at the top. That something is going to be served. That something is going to have other subordinate values.
But there isn't one.
But there is.
Yeah, you just said it, Tim. It's power, right? And I want to touch on the atheist point too, because atheists are responsible for they killed the most people in history. If I think about it correctly, all communists, socialists are atheists, right? Karl Marx said it best. If you're an atheist, you're 90% there you're already 90% there towards you're almost 90% socialist. You're 90% a socialist already. Just being an atheist. A lot of Karl Marx's political theory is derived from materialism. I forgot the guy he referenced a lot in his books in the Communist Manifesto, but atheism, because the reason why a lot of socialists and communists are atheists is that they believe that your belief in God will stop you from doing what's necessary to bring in the revolution or to bring in the utopia. They use language like that. You wouldn't use any means to get your ends. You wouldn't want to lie. You wouldn't want to kill, steal, slander, because your morality will get in the way of achieving that end, right? If you talk to a socialist and say, "Hey, socialist, you have to kill this person, and you'll get you'll get the society you want," many socialists will say yes, they'll do it. And you see it. You saw what happened. I already showed you with the Ryan Carson. Ryan Carson is the perfect example of that. Ryan Carson, you die. Oh, good. We'll use your death for the collective, for the good of the collective. It doesn't matter if it's morally wrong. Oh, you're his girlfriend. You're supposed to care more about him. Hey, he died for the cause. That's how they see it. Right? You're not entitled to nothing. You exist to benefit the collective. If we can benefit from your death, we'll use your death to benefit for our own ends. That's why like leftist, progressive, socialist, communist, they're very Machiavellian. Right? Smear people, label their opposition something that they're guilty of. Calling conservatives Nazis when Nazis mean National Socialist. That means you can't be a Nazi without being a socialist, but for some reason conservatives are Nazis. Slandering people because they know Nazi is tied to something bad. So they use that fact, even though it's from their ideology that produced that fraction or that subcategory of a political ideology. That's on them. That's the left. The left are fascists. The left are Nazis. They still operate that way. All you have to do is look at a BLM riot, Antifa. That's exactly how the brown shirts were operating in Germany. But because conservatives disagree with them, you get labeled a Nazi? Huh? How that make sense? They're going to use January 6th, but I'm going to say, yo, you was causing a lot more damage before January 6th came up. We did it one time. Y'all did it numerous times during 2020. And conservatives said, I guess we're going to try our turn. Oh, no, hold them accountable. They don't care about the hypocrisy. They don't care they bailed out a bunch of their political people from Antifa. They were raising bail money for Antifa, BLM during the summers of 2020. They didn't care. Condoning autonomous zones, lawless lands, people getting killed in Chads. They don't care. Bail them out. These are our guys. That's Nazi tactics. That's fascist tactics. But your political opponent do the exact same thing. Oh, get them. Prosecute them. Put them in jail without trial. Withhold evidence that would clear them of any wrongdoing until Tucker Carlson stars it on Fox News. This doesn't expose how Democrats are in the pursuit. At least you should look at them with a side eye. Now you can say Republicans can be doing the same thing, but if change was to come to this country, it's going to come through the Republican Party, not the Democratic Party. That's why RFK, Robert Kennedy, might run as a third party candidate. And I predicted this. If you look at, I forgot where I made that prediction. I think it was the history of the political patterns of American history, politics. I forgot one of the live streams, but I predicted that, hey, RFK should run as a third party candidate. And the biggest, this will hurt the Democratic Party the most, because there's polls, I referenced polls in that video. There's polls showing that most people don't want, a lot of people, if given the choice, would not want Biden or Trump. RFK can get those people's vote. And it helps. This is RFK's best chance to win, because he can't make it through the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is too rigged for Joe Biden. The DMC not holding any debates. They're not lying. And to me, I was like, hey, why is he running still? It's because he might be planning for an independent run. Like, he's going to run as an independent to punish the DNC for not hosting a debate. That's why he's still trying, even though there's no possibility that he was going to debate Joe Biden, because he was still building up his profile. And then he was going to run as an independent. And my theory is, as a populist, I was like, RFK, Trump, if Trump is the nominee, which likely he will be, it's just going to be a battle between him and RFK. And how disgraceful would it be for the Democratic Party that Joe Biden finishes third in a national debate, in a national election? Imagine that. That's how you send a message. So I hope RFK runs as an independent and finally put because at the end of the day, majority of Democrats did not want Joe Biden to be nominated again for the Democratic Party. And then the DNC said, be quiet, Democratic voter. You do what we say. How the Democrats don't care about power. They didn't rig the election, sorry. They rigged the Democratic primary for Hillary. Then they did it again to Bernie Sanders, but this time Bernie Sanders was complicit in it. And he said, hey, look, Joe Biden's the guy. I mean, how much proof do people need to be like, yo, like, in 2024, you still vote Democrat, bro? I don't know what to tell you. At least if you're going to vote against Trump, vote with RFK if he runs as a third party candidate, which I believe he will be. I've been predicted that he was going to run as a third party candidate. Because I say it don't make no sense. You're still campaigning. You're still talking when there's not going to be no debate. But hey, we'll see later on in the month, because I think he's supposed to make his announcement soon. We'll see what RFK plans to do. But I'll give this video 2 more minutes and then I'm going to wrap it up.
What is it?
Well, it depends, right? Is it Gaia? Is it the Earth? Is it the Earth that needs your sacrifices? Because otherwise we're going to burn it to death, and therefore we need to go to zero emissions, and then all of the poor people across the globe need to die because we're serving Gaia.
But now you're talking about an infinite group of infinite different groups of people.
Yes, everybody has something that they are worshiping and serving, and I think that for a lot of people it's sexual freedom. and like I have the right to do whatever I want regardless of who it hurts. I mean, if sex, your feelings, your identity, your decisions, if that's God, well, then we see children end up being the sacrifice for that. Something you're going to serve something. Everybody's serving something. And even the people that are just going along, why are they going along? Because you're made to be part of a community. And that also is what religion does for you, right? It gives you a fellowship. It gives you community. It gives you identity. And so these people are finding a God to worship. It's just destructive, you know?
And I agree with that. I think we all need a sense of community. And that's why I say, hey, I think conservatism should be more based on nationalism and try to come together. Hey, you're America. You serve America's best interest. Let's create an environment for the common American that is beneficial for everyone involved. Right. And I think that's the kind of case that the conservatives can make. Right. Leadership that's for the common good of the people. That's the populist thing. Right. But Democrats seem to make the people be a means to their own ends. Oh, you people put us in power so we can benefit from it. So we can become 100 millionaires while being career politicians. You prop us in power. Nancy Pelosi spending $19 million every 2 years to flood her district with ads so that way she can stay in power. That's not the kind of leadership that I think is going to prosper or bring this country forward to the next future. Because all I see right now in our country is people kicking the can down the road, kicking the can down the road, kicking the can down the road. And eventually it's going to hit a stone wall. And the people in that time is going to be trying to kick the can down the road and they can't no more. And they'll suffer all the bad consequences. Because when you absolve accountability, it doesn't go away. It's like interest. It compounds. Right? The easiest time to solve the problem was this year. You kick the can next year, it's going to be a bigger problem. And that's how we got, $33 trillion in debt? But we focus on tribal politics. And that's one thing I think I can't stand that the left doesn't want to recognize. The left is still in this tribal politics. When I'm saying, hey, look, man, sometimes you got to punish your own party. That's why I'm praying RFK runs as a third party, because it's going to hurt the Democrats more. Gives Trump a way more better. Like right now, Trump is 47%. There's some polls that have Trump at 47%, which is in the margin of error. So pretty much they're in the statistical tie. If RFK runs as an independent, Biden lost. Right? And you know what my dream scenario will be? This is my dream scenario, right? This is Kenny's dream scenario. And I'm going to wrap up the video with this live stream with this. Thanks for watching staying with me. Kenny's dream scenario is Trump wins the nomination. Trump wins the presidency. RFK runs as an independent. Trump and RFK finish 1 and 2. Joe Biden finishes 3. Just to stick it to the Democratic Party. Just so they learn, hey, when the people say we don't want Joe Biden as a nominee, we don't want Joe Biden as a nominee. This is why I think Joe Biden's going to get replaced. I don't think so. A lot of people say he could get replaced, whatever. And my opinions can change as time goes on, but I don't see it, man. I see Gavin Newsom trying to set himself up for 2028. I see that. But as of right now, I think Joe Biden's still going to be the guy. He's going to be dragging, though, but he's still going to be the guy. Because I think the DNC is too committed behind him, right? He already turned back his stance on the border wall. He's building out the border wall some more, right? AOC is crying about it. The most least effective politician in Congress is AOC, but people still vote for her. I don't know why. She spends about $5 million for her campaign. She outspends her rival by $5 million. That's how she stays. That's how she keeps in her seat. When a lot of people say, how these politicians who don't do nothing in Congress, who use and abuse Congress, how they stay in power? They use a lot of the money that they raise for ads. They just outspend their opponent. More people recognize her name and more of her people will go out and vote. It's a turnout game, right? And they'll vote, put her name in there, and that's how she stays in power. That's how these career politicians stay in power. So one solution is, hey, if people were more informed, this is my goal. If you can make the general population more informed about a lot of these issues, they're less susceptible to be, I'll say, manipulated by an ad campaign, right? When AOC goes in there and when it's time for her to win office again, she spends $5 million for ads. I want the scenario to be, well, that she can't do that. She can't do that. That's not likely to happen. That don't sound like a good idea to me. The common person will be able to be like, will be less influenced by the money. And either she has to spend way more money to get the same effect, or money won't even matter. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. The American people are too informed. That's why Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and them, they wanted a vigilant and informed people. Because if you're vigilant and you're informed, it's hard for you to fall for the ad campaigns. Because right now, majority of the Americans are ignorant about a lot of the inner workings of politics, the probability of success for a lot of the policies that Democrats push. But the Democrats spin it, like they like to sell false hope because they know, hey, these gonna get the people emotionally going, and we can use that to benefit ourselves. Because end of the day, the people are a means to an end. This is why they like people on welfare. This is why they market welfare as like an entitlement program. Oh, you're entitled to this. You're entitled to health care. Because they know, oh, we get these people dependent on them. We have what? Leverage over them. Like I said, if you're not responsible for it, you don't have authority over it. So the government has authority over your health care. So if the government decided, and this happened in the UK, a kid was in critical condition. He had a low probability of living through it. And the parents wanted to keep him alive. But because the government was paying for their health care, the government was like, nah, it's a low probability anyway. He's not going to survive it. The parents was fighting in court with the government to beg them to allow them to transfer the kid to Italy. The trial took too long, and the UK health system cut the kid's life support off, and the kid ended up dying. Imagine. The parents wanted to still keep their son alive. Wanted to send them to Italy. At least let the kid go to Italy so it's not on your buck. Government said no. UK government health system said no. Cut his cord. Kid's life died. Many leftists will sit there and say, well, he didn't have a high probability of coming out of the coma anyway. So the government was there to save resources. And that's my point. When you're not responsible for it, you have no authority. If the parents was paying out of their own pocket, the parents was like, hey, I'm going into debt. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to keep my son alive. Because you have power, because you're responsible for the payments, therefore you have power over what goes on. But when you transfer that burden to the government, you give the government authority over you. To the point where they get to dictate whether your child lives or dies. Because your kid only has a 12% chance of living through this. He's taking up resources. Cut it off. You just become a number. But for the government, that kid is just a number. For you, that was your child. That's the trade-off you make with nationalizing healthcare. That's the trade-off you make with free healthcare. Because it's not really free. My mom always told me this. Nothing's free in this world. So if it's free healthcare, that means you paying for it in a different way. But hey, that's just my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. Don't forget to pretty much share this video, comment. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I kept it pretty good. I kept it under 1:30. This is going to be my new time. And I try to keep it, around 1. Maybe the most I'll go is 1:30. Sometimes I can't help it. I really like conversating with you guys, really seeing the interactions on here. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope to see you guys next week on Live with Kenny. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.